Oh yeah, what's going on YouTube? Had to make this video today. By the way, thank you for coming by, but this video was very important to me because I think it's a very important topic and I want to know why some people tip and some people don't. And that's what's in today's video. So I came across this article, and in the article it says only 1% of passengers always tip their Uber drivers. A new study of 40 million riders found. So hold on a second. I'm just going to put this up on the screen because I think it's best to do it this way, and then you guys can see for yourself. By the way, my subscribers, I appreciate you guys being here. And as promised, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm doing the dash cam giveaway every single month. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so and click the bell so you know when I'm doing the giveaway. Guys, if you don't know, my name's Nick. I'm the Rideshare hacker. This channel is dedicated to helping you make more money as an Uber and Lyft driver. I don't do Uber Eats. I don't do Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything like that. And with that being said, by the way, if there's anybody out there that wants to contribute to my channel talking about their Uber Eats experience or DoorDash or Amazon Flex or anything like that, definitely hit me up and send me a message, send me a text message. You can find my number in my profile, and we can go from there. But with this article, I think it's very important because I want to know, like, they interviewed 40 million, they looked over 40 million riders. Let me just pull this up. Yeah. Okay, so there it is. You can see it now. So they interviewed over 40 million riders, not interviewed, but analyzed the data. And what they found was very interesting. And something I always noticed, I remember there was one day in Boston, I was sitting there and I had a ride, or I either just picked somebody up or dropped somebody off. I can't remember, but we were stuck at a little bit of traffic there. And what had happened was I noticed that a limo service, it was a van, right? So it was a limo service van. And they're basically just a little mini shuttle coming from the airport. Now the driver got out, pulled everybody's bag out of the back, which is something I do all the time. I always put their bags in and pull their bags out, provided that they let me, because sometimes people don't want to let you do it, either because they don't feel they need to be served, or they just don't want to tip. And so anyways, I saw this limo driver, or he wasn't even a limo driver. It was some older guy. He wasn't wearing he didn't look all that great. Like, he didn't present himself very well. But he went to the back of the van, pulled everybody's bags out, handed it to him, and everybody was pulling out money and handing him over money. I'm like, for what? What did this guy do that was so special? Why is nobody handing money over to us as Uber drivers? So that's what I wanted to do in this video, because I came across this article and I saw this. So I want to start reading the article to you. Just let me set up my cam here, and we can get into it. Hopefully we can get into it. All right, I'm going to put this up to the side. Let's do it over this way, because I think this is going to be the better way to go. All right. So now let's start this recording here. Only 1% of passengers always tip their Uber drivers. A new study of 40 million riders found. All right. And I found this, it's Business Insider by Graham Rapier. Okay, interesting name. An Uber driver, Spencer Platt, Getty. Okay. A new study of more than 40 million Uber riders revealed a trend that many drivers have known to be true for years. Only about 16% of Uber rides receive tips, and only 1% of riders leave a tip for every single ride, the study found. The researchers who published their findings in conjunction with the National Bureau of Economic Research also found that higher rated drivers and riders receive more tips and tip more often. I think that is to be true. I do notice that if I ever have a five-star driver, a five-star rider, that they do generally tip more. Hold on a second, guys. I think I got a better. I'm trying to get some better light on this situation here. So let me do it like this. Let me get my setup here. All right, let's start this again. Move my daddy's ashes over. I got a little picture of him. Okay. So I think the light's better. Is the light better? Give me a thumbs up if the light's better. I hope the audio is okay here. All right. Yeah, so I did notice that. I did notice that five-star riders do tend to tip better. And I think they get 5-star because they tip. I think there's just something that goes along with that. Very easily, honestly, like when people are riding pool, if they get a pool and I get stuck with a pool because I'm trying to take advantage of a surge price, I will generally give them a bad rating just for taking the pool. I know it's really messed up, but it's like I don't want these people. I really just don't. If you can't afford the extra $5 to take an Uber X, then you got bigger issues. But anyways, I digress. The researchers who published the finding in conjunction with the National Bureau of Economic Research also found that higher rated drivers and riders receive more tips and more often. Okay. Visit Business Insider's homepage for more details. Okay. Only a tiny fraction of Uber riders are sure to always tip their driver, according to a new analysis of more than 40 million rides. Only a tiny fraction. And it's like, if you are a passenger, definitely comment below, like, why do you tip and why don't you tip? Do you tip sometimes and not other times? Love to hear your feedback. Us drivers would definitely love to hear that feedback. Gender, age, and the quality of a trip can also have a big impact on the size of that gratuity. Researchers from Stanford, the University of California in San Diego, and the University of Chicago said in a paper published Monday by the National Bureau of Economic Research. Definitely got to give credit to the people that did this. Roughly 16% of Uber rides are tipped, the study's author wrote. Yet most riders, 60%, never tip over our 4 weeks of data collection. 60% never tip. I mean, come on. I just got back from cleaning my car. I clean my car. I try to keep it clean all the time. I help people with their bags in and out. I always ask if the temperature's okay. Is it quiet? Do you want music? Is it okay if I play music? I usually turn it down, but definitely make sure they're comfortable. That's something I always do. And, at least $1 just for that little bit of extra would go so far. If I got $1 from every single person, at least $1, I mean, that would help cover gas, that adds up. So, yeah, most riders, 60%, never tip. Of those who do tip, very few, 1% tip on every trip. So I wonder what makes them tip if they only tip if only 1% of them tip every trip. The remainder of people only tip on about 25% of trips. And it's hard for me to analyze all this data, guys, so do with it, what you will. Perhaps unsurprisingly, highly rated drivers made more in tips than those with fewer stars. But those amounts begin to slide even with averages that many would likely consider to still be premium. When it comes to gender, female drivers also get tipped a premium, but only up to a certain age, the researchers found. Interesting. Further, female drivers are tipped more than male drivers. I believe that. A fact that is true regardless of the rider gender. Women tip female drivers nearly 12% more than they tip male drivers. I believe that, the researchers wrote. However, the tip premium that male riders pay to female drivers falls with the driver's age and disappears by the age of 65. I feel sorry for the women that are 65 or older because apparently they're not getting tips. That's so messed up. This tipping difference results in a 5 cent per trip driver gender tip gap. That's a lot of words there to say. Can you say that 5 times fast? 5 cent per trip driver gender tip gap. I'm not even going to do it. In terms of magnitude, drivers with a 5-star rating are tipped close to 50% more than those with a 4.75 rating. That's a huge difference. 50% more just for having a 5.0. The author said. And when they do receive tips, they are nearly 5% higher. So it does pay to be a better driver. It does pay to be a 5-star rated driver and not a 4.75 or below. Keep that in mind. I'm a 4.96 on Uber. I don't know what I did to piss somebody off, but somebody gave me a low rating. F them. And then on Lyft, I'm a 5-star rated driver. So, figure that out. Probably because I do more economy rides with Uber. It just tells you the class of people that are riding with you. In the premium rides, when you're doing premium rides, you get a higher class of people. When you do the economy rides, you get a lower class of people. Not all of them, okay? So I'm not saying everybody that takes an economy ride, but what I am saying is that you get more problematic customers in the economy modes. That's what I find. Rider ratings represent a key demand-side explanatory variable, researchers said. We find that our example, riders who... Okay, I already read that. 5-star rating tip more than twice as often as those with a 4.75 rating. And when they do tip, it's nearly 14% more. That's huge, 14% more. Many of the paper's findings may help to codify anecdotes drivers have told Business Insider for months. Most people don't tip Jenny, a driver in New Jersey who requested anonymity in order to speak candidly about her work driving for Uber and Lyft, told Business Insider earlier this year. So we have a girl, here's Jenny. We don't know how old she is, but she said most people don't tip. So that kind of goes against what the report says. I found people are more likely to tip if I have a conversation. I find that to be true as well. And I seem to get more from service workers or people on business trips who can expense the tip. That's true too. I get much higher tips from people who expense it. And thank you. I appreciate you guys. The researchers found data to back up her theory too, saying that tips tend to be highest for airport and business trips. I also find that to be true. Michael, a driver in Dallas, estimated earlier this year that roughly 10% of his passengers left tips. Most people don't even tip, he said bluntly. Some people will say they're going to tip on the app, but they don't. Classic. I'll tip you in the app. And they never do. You know, it's just so cowardly. Don't be a coward. Don't even say it. Don't even say it if you're not going to tip. Just say, I'm cheap and I'm not going to tip you. In chronicling his driving experience for Business Insider, Uber and Lyft driver Clark Bowman says about 20 to 25% of his passengers tip, but notes most drivers don't expect a tip every time. Most people would not even bat an eye at tipping any people in these professions, he writes, of waiters, bellhops, and other jobs where tipping is expected. But somehow Uber and Lyft drivers become exempt from this group. Yes, and why are we exempt from this group? Now, I believe tip is something that you give to somebody for service, right? And I know that waiters and waitresses don't make a lot of money, and bartenders too. You know, I mean, they work long hours, and you think it's good money, but the hours don't justify it really. But I know that they don't make a high hourly wage, and at least not in Massachusetts. I think like the minimum is probably like $3 an hour or something. So they really work for tips. So I'm always tipping there. Now, other than that, I think anybody that provides me service, goes above and beyond, deserves a tip. What do you think? Definitely comment below. I want to know what you think about tipping. An Uber representative cautioned that the data set used for the study, while massive, 40 million, was limited to 2017 data. The representative offered no examples of significant changes to Uber's tipping policy or app interface that might affect how riders tip. Notably, Uber only added a tipping function to its app in 2017, after an outpouring of requests from both riders and drivers. That's interesting. In just over 2 years, drivers on Uber and delivery partners on Uber Eats have received nearly $2 billion in tips, on top of their earnings. The representative said in an email, "This feature remains one of the most popular among riders, drivers, and delivery partners. We're committed to developing and improving features that help detect and mitigate bias on our platform." So, guys, let me know what you think. I think there's more to the story, but I think that pretty much sums it up. I might do another one talking more about this, but I want to know what you think. Do you get tips? Do you tip if you take a ride on Uber or Lyft? Definitely comment below. I would love to hear your opinion. Guys, thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.